first, thank you for taking your time out your day for PlanetMosh.
Cool.
We love you guys.
Awesome.
So excited for tonight, seriously.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Cool, it'll be good.
Oh, definitely. So, first up, if I ask, how's the UK tour been going? How have we been treating you, venues and whatnot?
Well, awesome. First of all, we are completely spoiled because we're on a tour bus. So the past few tours we've done here, I've been like navigator and we've been in a little van. So the Butcher Babies have been gracious enough to split the bus with us. So not only are we doing that, but we're making a ton of new friends because we're now traveling on the road with this other awesome band. So it's been great. Like, they have the same awesome attitude as us about like exploring the cities. Like, we try to fit in as much as we can. It's really hard when you're on the road, and obviously the shows are killer. They have such great fans, and we've been overwhelmed with how many fans we've started to build here, this being our 4th time over. So shows have been great, and we've had like, I think 3 sold out shows so far, so it's been really fun.
Yeah. Really cool. My next question was going to be, what's it like touring with the Butcher Babies? So
Well, it's kind of cool having other females on the road with me, because I'm very used to it being like the only
Male
female, and it's kind of cool too because their band knows how it works with females in the band. Like, sometimes, you know, they don't take it in consideration, like, oh, you have to change in front of like all the guys and things like that. Like, so things like that, and like, just, you know, it's just kind of cool to have some other females that we can like chat and see things from their perspective as well, and how they've been able to, like, you know, fight their stereotypes in this world and make their way through in like a heavy genre and stuff. And Carla and Heidi are like so cool, nice, talented people. It's like really cool to be on tour with them.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So, absolutely love your album, Lost in Psycho City. We've, last few days especially, getting ready for the show, we've just had it on repeat and just getting all pumped for it. Love it.
Cool.
What kind of influences?
Yeah, so that record came about. There's a few things that come to mind like right away. Well, the band kind of came about after I was played Skin Dread's record, Babylon, their first record. Matt, my guitarist, he showed it to me, and it was like that record that made me think like you can mix this dance hall kind of rhythms with the heavy music. And to me, I've always kind of been a little bit more like, I started off in pop music, but I always really loved punk, and I started getting into like metal. But then once I heard that combination of like the groove with that, I was like, okay, I totally want to do this. This is what I want to do. And then there's this one song that I remember hearing. We were playing a video game and it was on the background, and I thought it was so cool, and I was like, it sounded Japanese to me for some reason, like Japanese singing. And then I looked it up, and it was actually this band called Amal Alpha. They haven't been around. They've disbanded, so they haven't been around for a bunch of years, but they have a couple cool albums and like a handful of these tracks that like majorly influenced me, just because it's a female lead, and she just does really cool rhythms and freaks out, and she like wears this like white face paint and has this kind of like white afro, and she just kind of like freaks out. Like, there's this one video where she's actually like on a leash like a dog, and she's just like at the camera like freaking out, and I was like, this is rad. So that kind of weighed us through to like more of like the Rob Zombie type imagery, with like using horror movies as a major influence, and kind of like this weird kooky B-movie imagery. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
So then that takes me on to mine, which is kind of covered again. We love the ideas behind the music videos. Which music video did you find most challenging to film, and why?
Yeah, so they've all had their challenges, let me tell you. There's probably like a major injury or torture situation happening on every video. But I guess the hardest one to do was our video Fighter, because we took months and months and months building this miniature city basically in our band's jam room. So as the jam room got smaller, the city got bigger, until we were like in a little tiny corner, and we couldn't jam anymore because the entire place was filled with these cardboard boxes, and my hands were just like torn apart because I was using X-Acto blades and cutting every little window and every little, and it took months, and my whole living room was completely like, no, I couldn't have anyone over. It was like literally a disaster zone. And I think it was a year from when I actually moved my couch and furniture out of my living room to when I moved it back in. That's how long it took from the beginning of all the filming and starting the idea of it until it was like all finished. So it took a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this tour has got to be an awesome one. I mean, Butcher Babies, as I said to Heidi and Clark earlier in Winchfield, every night different local bands and that. Fantastic. Yeah. Has there been like any highlights of the tour, and how's it been going?
Yeah, so I guess my favorite show so far was Manchester. Was pretty wild. I kind of like, I like to do a lot of like weird kind of crazy things with the crowd, and I usually find some weird place to climb up, like on the bar or something. But it was so jam-packed that I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. And it was literally, the bar was on one end and the stage was on the other end, and I like crowd surfed from the bar all the way back to the stage. And then my guitar player got me up on his shoulders, and we did like some stuff where I was on his shoulders. And then there was these weird pipes, like we used the room, so it had these like weird beam pipe things that he kept hanging off, and we got like all these sick pictures of him like hanging from the roof. And so I love when the venue kind of gives you some opportunities to kind of play around and play with the crowd in like different ways, and kind of just catch them off guard. I think sometimes that's my favorite thing to do. But I mean, other highlights, like Glasgow was awesome because we were able to have a day off there, so we got to see a lot of sights, and the weather was like so beautiful. So we went and we saw their old cathedral and the big graveyard there, and then we went over to the museum and like did like a crash course at the museum there, and went through the park. It was just like gorgeous, amazing. So I had so much fun there. Yeah.
Awesome. Can you tell us a bit more about sort of the origins of Sumo Cyco, where you guys met?
Yeah, so when I was 14 years old, I was doing pop music. I was a solo pop artist, and I auditioned a bunch of different guys for my band. Two of those guys ended up being my bass player, Kenny Thorcork, and Matt M.D. Drake, who are now playing with me in my band. So I don't know which way it was, but I think however it worked, like they brought me to the dark side, or I kind of went to the dark side, but of rock and roll instead of pop music. But they were like pretty much like, since my high school years were spent touring on the road, they became my best friends, and they just like taught me everything about what they knew about music. And so it kind of was inevitable that we would end up writing together and working together. And then, so basically, like I said, I did 2 records as a solo artist, and I was kind of having like, I don't know, like a end of teens, early 20s crisis. I don't know what you would call it, like first quarter life crisis. Just like wondering what direction my career was going to go. And I heard that Skin Dread record, and I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to do a 360. I want to change from doing like kind of the major label pop stuff. I want to try to do like the independent, build it up from the ground up kind of thing. And it's been 5 years, and it's been going super well. But our drummer, we've had 3 drummers in our bands. One of the first one that did our record, he got a gig with Every Time I Die, and so we were like super proud of him. So we were like, okay, we're gonna go let you do it, because he had all these big tours to do. And then our last drummer, we literally got home last December after our craziest year of touring yet, and he was like, guys, I don't know if I can handle this. Like, I'm away from home all the time. I'm not getting paid. Like, you guys are crazy. I love you, but I don't know if I can, like, make a living doing this. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're not committed, then that's fine. We love you. Do your thing. So we literally, the first show we did on this tour was the first show we ever played with this drummer we have with us now. So it's kind of like a trial run to see how he likes us and how we like him. But it's going really well so far.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
It's always the hardest, getting a drummer.
Yeah.
Nightmare. So you mentioned Skin Dread. Any other bands that have influenced you over the years?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the comparisons we get, which I actually don't mind at all, are like a metal version of like early No Doubt.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I have heard that quite
So I like that. I mean, I'm a big Gwen Stefani fan, and like I remember seeing her do like Just a Girl, and then she would like stop midway and do like push-ups while she was singing, and I was like, that's badass. And things like that really inspired me to be a performer that's more than just like standing up there and just like singing your song, but like turning it into a show and having a lot of fun with the audience and things like that. But I also, I mean, I love like Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down. My guitar player is like just jamming out to Clutch all the time. That's his all-time favorite band. But like, yeah, we have so many influences. Refused, we were just having a dance party in the bus to Shape of Pump to Come, that record from Refused, and yeah, it was. So we listen to hip hop. Like right now, there's a funny thing happening on the bus where Matt, our guitarist, just like started playing that stupid song. Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur, and he just started saying it all the time, and then he started playing on his phone, and now everyone in the camp always brings it up. And then last night we were in Birmingham and we went out to this dance club, and then Matt's like, oh, I gotta request Apple bottom jeans. So he goes up and he requests it, and like our whole crew is like, no, Apple bottom jeans. So yeah, it's kind of an ongoing joke right now.
Love it.
Yeah.
So this is the last question. What's the plans for the future?
Yeah, so basically we've been running a pledge music campaign, crowdfunding for our second album, and that's been going on since October of last year. So I know everyone's kind of getting really antsy of like, when's it going to come? And we've been dropping some hints because we do have a collaboration with Benji Webb from Skindred on the new album. So people have kind of like slowly been... We're actually doing that one tonight, so you'll be able to hear it. Yeah, so the whole reason we've had to put off the album is because we got invited on this tour, and then we got invited to do a U.S. tour with the band Mushroomhead. Yep. And so that kind of pushes our recording back into the summer. And then now that we're kind of like learning with a new drummer, we're going to have to see how that goes. Yeah. And so we were hoping to have it released this year, but I think the plan is to have it released early next year. And we'll start dropping some singles at the end of this year. And yeah, we're really excited. We have 3 more videos to do for our Lost in Cyco City saga, so we're going to finish that up while we write. And then, and then we'll be all doing the second record. And I know there's going to be some tours in between there and some more tour announcements. And we've gotten a lot of really great support from our agency who's helped us get some really cool gigs. So we're going to continue that and keep the ball rolling. So, yeah, can expect us back soon, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Awesome.
So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you from us and PlanetMosh.
Oh, yeah, thank you.